Now, for more on this story, our business editor Peter Ryan joins us now. Peter, the ACCC approved this deal for 5 years. As I said, Qantas and Emirates wanted 10, and they said that there would be a limited benefit to consumers, which is why they went for the shorter period. This was a bit of a line call, wasn't it?
Yeah, and it's a very big deal for Qantas that this has been given the tick by the ACCC, and we know that Qantas has had a pretty rough year and has, in the year to June, had lost $450 million on the international business. So while we expected the ACCC to come out and support this, had there been a surprise and they had rejected, it would have been very bad news for Qantas. But as Rod Sims said there, the key reason for the ACCC going ahead with this is because they can see so much competition within Asia. Even though Emirates is the world's biggest airline, still believe that travellers will be able to shop around and get a better deal if they don't like what they can get under the Qantas Emirates tie-up.
There are some concerns, though, for particularly routes where both airlines overlap.
There are, but even so, Rod Sims believes that travellers will be able to seek alternatives if there are overlapping routes there. I think that he knows that, particularly with the Chinese starting to operate within Asia, China Eastern, for example, that there are actually much cheaper fares available on those type of airlines than you might find on Qantas or Emirates. But on the other side, if you look at the traditional kangaroo route that would be normally Qantas would be going through Singapore on to London under the new deal starting from April, they'll be going through Dubai. Rod Sims believes that this will create even greater competition in Asia, and Qantas as a result will provide more flights within Asia via its Jetstar offshoots.
A lot's being made of this 5-year approval as opposed to the 10-year. Does it make a difference to either of the airlines?
Well, I think that Qantas seeking 10 years was not unexpected. Obviously, they would want to go for a longer term to create greater certainty, in particular for shareholders. But 5 years is a pretty good midway mark, and the ACCC chairman Rod Sims said that if Qantas wanted to have that revisited, or if there were any other potential alliances that might come up in addition to Emirates, they would have to go back and look at the whole thing. But it appears for now that Emirates, being the world's biggest airline, is perhaps the best that Qantas is going to be getting in a pretty competitive aviation business.
The decision isn't final. The ACCC is seeking comments. Is it as good as done, though?
It appears that it is as good as done. Rod Sims, as we saw just then, looking very, very positive and indeed satisfied that the consumer won't be hurt by this, and did make the point, though, that they wanted to see a minimum number of seats on the Australia-New Zealand route on each of those particular routes where Emirates has flights and Qantas has particular flights, to ensure that there's not a stranglehold by either there. So there'll have to be an equal number of seats on Emirates flights and Qantas flights to keep that going. But that was about the only potential deal breaker. And Jeremy, as a result, Qantas shares up about 1% this morning, and interestingly, ever since that Emirates potential alliance was announced, Qantas shares have recovered 22%, and that's obviously very good for Qantas shareholders who were concerned with the shares fell below $1 earlier in the year.
Now, a number of tourism bodies have thrown their support behind this deal, but crucially not the Australian Tourism Commission, which obviously we know from the last few days, Jeff Dixon and Alan Joyce having a bit of tension there. Can we read anything into that?
Well, just looking at this from Qantas's response, welcoming the decision, Qantas makes the point that a number of different bodies from Commonwealth and state, including Queensland and state governments supporting this, and tourism bodies from different states, but there's no mention of the Australian Tourism Commission, and perhaps that goes to the rift that we've been seeing between the former managing director of Qantas, Jeff Dixon, and also Alan Joyce, who took over the job. So the fact that has been omitted from Qantas's statement welcoming the alliance perhaps tells us something about the frosty relations between Alan Joyce and Jeff Dixon.
Interesting times in the airline industry. Peter Ryan, thank you.